We have covered two important methods of Selenium WebDriver in last two videos, find element and find elements. Just to recap, find element method is responsible to find one matching web element for a given locating strategy, whereas find elements method is responsible to find more than one web element for a given locating strategy. The return type of find element method is a web element, but the return type of find elements method is a list of web elements. And internally, find element method calls find elements method and returns the first element from that list. So suppose if your locating strategy is returning you more than one web element, but if you are using find element method, then the first matching web element will be returned, and the first matching web element will be from top. So that is the basics about those two methods. If you have watched my previous videos, then there I have explained that find element and find elements method both do not wait for web element to be appear on the web page if they are not found immediately. It is possible, right? Whatever web element we are looking for, that might appear after some time. For example, suppose you click on registration button and after some time it shows you welcome message. Or if you are testing any latest front end framework based website, then you might notice that your application has been loaded. That means you can see the browser loader has stopped, but still your components are being loaded. For those scenarios, we need to make sure that my methods should wait at least for some time before throwing exception or an empty list. Now you will be thinking, Amod, that will be a very simple way to achieve it. We can handle it using for loop. Suppose if you are using find element method, then you can use the try catch and catch the exception and retry it. Same thing for find elements. We can check the size of the list. If it is 0, then obviously we need to retry. But you need to put some exit criteria, like if you have waited for 30 seconds or if you have tried for 10 times. That is one way of handling that scenario, obviously. But we have something built in Selenium which will do it for you. So we have multiple wait mechanism in Selenium, and one way is called implicit wait. So let's understand about implicit wait with example. I have a HTML page where a text box will appear after 10 seconds. So if I show you in browser, let me refresh it, you can see we see only two paragraphs here, and after 10 seconds one text box will appear, and you can see page has been loaded completely. So in this case, my input box is present here on my website, but my find element and find elements method will not able to find it because it is appearing after your web page is loaded. So how does these methods work? So find element and find elements method both will start looking for the web element as soon as the loading of your website is completed. That means this icon has stopped loading. At that time, if it does not find the web element, then it will return you exception or an empty list based on the method you are using. I don't want that default behavior. I want my method to wait for this text box for some time. Here you can use some hard-coded sleep like thread.sleep and wait for 10 seconds. But that is not the optimal way. Suppose here we have dynamic wait. Sometimes it is taking 10 seconds or sometimes it is taking 2 seconds only. So unwantedly, you are going to wait for extra seconds. And also there should be some logic which will make these methods to poll for the web element frequently. Means after every 1 second or 2 seconds. Because in real time, you are going to have many scenarios. And if in all the scenarios you wait for 10 second, 20 second extra, then you can see how much test execution time will be. So we need to be very smart while using the waits in Selenium WebDriver. And obviously implicit wait is not only the solution, but since we are learning from scratch, so we will cover the implicit wait in this video. So I'm going to load this HTML on my script. So let me copy the path. I'll copy the absolute path. Go to my program, and for the get method, I'm going to pass the HTML page. Let's try without any implicit wait as of now. So I'm going to use Chrome driver dot find element, and let me inspect this text box to get the details, and I'm going to use the tag name. So it will be by dot tag name. I'll use input. The return type of this method is a web element. So let me store into a web element, and I am going to print text box dot is displayed, and also I'm going to print the timestamp. So sys out new date. And same thing after printing the display status of web element. Let me run it now. You can see page is loaded, and if you see the console, we have already one exception, and you can see browser is not closed because program has been terminated due to exception. So let me close this browser and go up. You can see we see the timestamp, but we see unable to locate element. And obviously we know the region now. Now let's change this behavior. If you use the find elements method instead of find element, then you will see the empty list, and that I have already shown in my previous video, so you can go and watch that the behavior. Now how to put the implicit weight? So for that we have methods. So we need to use the browser difference. So in this case Chrome driver dot manage. You can see the return type of manage method is options. Then I'm going to use the method chaining here. So here we have called timeouts, and return type of timeouts method is timeouts itself. Then I have a method implicitly wait. We are learning implicit wait, but the method name is implicitly wait. So select this, and here it is taking an argument of type duration. So use duration dot of seconds, and here I can put any seconds like 15 seconds. You need to be very careful what do you put here, because whatever implicitly wait we set here, that will be applicable for this entire Chrome driver session. That means wherever you are using find element and find elements methods, automatically these wait will be applicable there. Obviously you can change this timing, but you need to be ensure that whatever implicitly wait you are setting, that is reasonable. And then no need to store the return type of this implicitly wait. You can ignore it. I'm going to run this program now. So you can see now program has not been terminated. It is waiting. Now you can see text box was appeared and it is giving me true. And you can see program started from 21 and ended after 10 seconds 31, because my text box appeared after 10 seconds. So as soon as it appears, find element found that and returned to us, and that is printing state displayed, so it is giving me true. Then timestamp. If I set the implicitly wait only for 8 seconds or 9 seconds, let's see what happens in this case. I'm going to rerun it again. You can see it is waiting. And we see the exception, browser is not closed, and if you come down you can see it is giving no such element exception, because element will appear after 10 seconds and we are setting the implicitly wait only for 9 seconds. So obviously it is going to fail. So we have one point here that if your element is found before the timeout of your implicitly wait, then it is not going to wait extra. Previously I have set the implicitly wait for 15 seconds, but element was found after 10 seconds itself, so it did not wait for extra 5 seconds. So that's why it is called dynamic wait. Now let's see some more concepts about implicitly wait now. If I put this statement from here to here, then what will happen? So it is not going to wait now, because I have put the implicitly wait statement here. So if I write any new find element or find elements method or statements after this line, then only that implicitly wait will be applicable for those methods. So please understand, you need to make sure that you are defining that before finding any web element, so that it will be applicable. One more thing, suppose you write this statement twice, one for 9 seconds, another for 5 seconds. So in this case, both the time will not be added. Implicitly wait will be set only for 5 seconds. That means the second statement will override the first one. So sometimes if you want to override the implicitly wait for some specific scenario, you can do that. That means for some scenario you need to wait for longer, then you can increase the implicitly wait there. So how does this implicitly wait work? So we have given the timeout like 10 seconds. So implicitly wait will keep polling or looking for the web element frequently. That's why if you are setting the implicitly wait for 10 seconds and it is keep continuing looking for the element, and if it finds the element after 2 seconds or 3 seconds, it will stop and execution will go to the next statement. The same case with the find elements method as well. But I want to cover one important concept here again. I have another HTML page. Let me open this HTML page in a browser. On this web page, a button will appear after some delay. So we don't have only one button, but we have multiple buttons. which will be appearing after fixed interval. So every button will appear after 5 seconds. So suppose I want to find all the buttons. Then obviously I need to use the another method, find elements. And now see the trick part. So I'm going to copy the path and load here chromedriver.get, and I'm going to use the find elements method this time. So copy this, paste below, change the method name, and let me store into a list of web element, and let me inspect which locating strategy I need to use. So let me use button tag name, and here I am going to print the size of my list, and also I will have the timestamp. So initially there will be no buttons, and after 5 seconds only my first button will appear. Since I am using find element, so will it return all the 5 buttons after waiting for all buttons to be appear, or what will be the behavior? But before that, let me set the implicitly wait time as well. Let me set the implicitly wait as of now 30 seconds and run the program. So we are waiting for the button. You would have seen that only one button appeared, and find elements method returned you only one button, and it terminated the program. And if you see here, the difference between these two dates is only 5 seconds. So here is the trick part. Find elements method will wait till the first web element is encountered, and it is waiting because of the implicitly wait. It does not matter how long you have set it. It is not going to wait entirely. As soon as it finds the first web element, then it will return you all the web elements matching at that particular point. It is not going to wait any further for any web element to be loaded. If all of my buttons appear at the same time with the first button, then obviously it is going to return me all the buttons. So just to recap, by default find element and find elements method both will not wait for element to be loaded. We need to set the implicitly wait so that it can wait for a specific time. And once implicitly wait timeout is over, then find element method will give you an exception, and find elements method will give you a list of an empty list. It is not going to give you timeout exceptions. So that's all in this video. If you have any doubt, please comment on this video. If you really like my videos, please like, comment, subscribe and share with others. Thank you everyone.